An addiction crisis in America when it comes to food, and that's very profitable. I was a consultant for Big Food. There was a very clear objective. They want to make cheap, addictive food. Almost every single chronic condition that is shortening and torturing American life is tied to food. This is obviously a disaster for American health, but for the food companies, it's very profitable. Ultra-processed food is now 70% of our diet. Like, the food is literally weaponized with sugar, seed oils, highly processed grains. It's happening in the food industry. It's not a free market. It's a rigged market. Working for the food industry, I helped pay off regulators, pay off the media itself to run stories about how ultra-processed food is healthy, paid off lawmakers, paid off researchers. Coca-Cola pays the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Diabetes Association, the American Cancer Society. We did that in spades, millions of dollars to groups that would do that for us. We just went down the list of institutions Americans trust and tried to get them money. That was my job. Humans are born with an innate sense of what's good for us, and that is being taken away by the food industry. Hired all the scientists in the 1980s from the tobacco companies. The tobacco companies, as smoking went down, actually started buying Nabisco and Kraft and shifting their scientists over. The key thing that the food companies know is that ultra-processed food, which is now up to 70% of our diet, is a science experiment. They're hijacking our evolutionary biology, and they're making the food addictive. And working for the food companies, the first part of the devil bargain is making that food normalized.
You heard what he said. I want to say shalom.
An addiction.
First thing and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakak. I want to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone and rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Know is in this gospel, bro, lifting up the standard of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is just a quick lesson through the Spirit. Lord's will to be edifying. Basically going into the defilement of the food. I came across this video, I believe, yesterday, and I wanted to speak on it briefly. But basically, this guy, I guess he was some type of consultant or something like that. I'm not sure. You know, these devils, man, they got their hands into all types of shit. But it says regulators paid to how regulators are paid off to poison food because they have what they call food science. What they do is they take a particular taste or they take a particular flavor and they replicate it through a chemical. All right, I'm not exactly sure on what the particular chemical is. You know, you can always research it, but basically the food that we're getting in the grocery stores today, it ain't real. You know, it's not real. And I think who was I talking to about this? I talked to a couple of people about this because, like, my job, I deal with clients and stuff like that try to, get, with chronic illnesses and shit like that, and I try to put them more on a holistic approach instead of, pharmaceuticals, I'll say it that way, instead of places like Big PHARMA. I try to steer them and give them some education on ways on improving health through eating and exercising and, natural herbs, remedies and stuff like that instead of this way, because 70% of the food is fucking processed, and I believe it's more than that. Okay, like you go to Whole Foods, that's basically high price bullshit. Okay, Whole Foods is the same shit you get in same shit you get in your mainstream grocery stores. Like Chicago, we got Jewel Osco, we got Ultra Foods, we got Save-A-Lots, we got all these. We had a place called Cub Foods, which Cubs was basically turned into Ultra Foods, man. We got Dominic's, Food for Less. We got grocery stores like that in Illinois. And then in Missouri, you have Hy-Vee, Price Choppers, Constantino's, pretty much they all the same shit. Then you got Whole Foods, which Whole Foods, I will say it is a little bit better. It's more on the cleaner side, but it's still the same thing, man. Because when you look at some of the ingredients, it's all processed shit. Like I was looking at what the hell I was looking at the other day? Yeah, I was looking to get some crackers because, I was just going to the store and kind of just, putting stuff in the house just for a rainy day, soups, canned goods, beans, rice, all the good stuff. So I was like, you know what? I need some crackers. But then when I looked at the crackers, for like some basic saltine crackers, you got the whole wheat kind, and it had all type. It got canola oil, it got high fructose corn syrup, which is sugar, and I have all these different ingredients. I'm like, why the hell do you need 56 ingredients to make fucking bread, dough. Like, I just don't get it. And I'm wondering, like, why everybody is sick. Everybody is suffering from health issues, man. Because it's the food. And like this man said, he said they paid off places to poison the food. So you go to McDonald's and you get you a Big Mac. A Big Mac sandwich itself have between 600 and 800 fucking calories. And wonder why everybody is obese, diabetes, high blood pressure. You know, like I was dealing with the top supervisor, and she's like one of my clients and shit, and she was like, she suffered from high blood pressure, and I was asking her a list of questions and all that other stuff, you know, not to put our medical information out there, but I was asking her a list of questions, and then when she started to tell me why she, you know, what she was eating and diet, I'm like, okay, well, that's why, you know, your blood pressure is high. I'm like, maybe you cut out this, and this, and this, and that. But the foods are so addictive. Okay, it's basically like crack. It's like drugs, man. They put the shit in the food because it replicates the taste. You know, and our minds and our bodies are engineered to gravitate towards things that taste good or that's supposed to be good for us. So no matter how many facts you bring out on Chick-fil-A or Big Mac Whopper sandwich, how poisonous it is, it's the taste that creates it creates a dopamine effect in the brain, and dopamine is what they call, that's the pleasure hormone in the brain. Okay, that's why sex is always good. This is why anything that's overly good or stimulating to the mind and the body, you tend to continue to do it, which too much of it can be bad for you. You know, this is why people develop sexual addictions. This is why people develop drug addictions. I know they're addicted to certain things because they constantly need that hit of dopamine to keep them engaged. And it's like they say, nothing is like the first time. Like if you ever dealt with a person that smoke or whatever, they said they first high was that first one they're always chasing. That's a dopamine disorder, man. You're out of balance, and it's the same thing with the food, you know. So we got to get out of here, man, okay? Because these companies are well aware. You go to Walmart, you go to these grocery stores, even fucking Aldi. I shop at Aldi's, and they got decent products there, but it's still tainted. You know, you could try to eat as holistic and as clean as possible, but you're still being poisoned, man. But that's not to say that, you know, if you clean up your diet and you eat more whole foods and you try to eat whole foods, I mean, you know, it is a difference. Like I've noticed a difference since I've cut out a lot of preservatives and shit over the last year, because my diet failure was always pretty straightforward. It wasn't like a horrible diet. I always had a decent diet, but overall, like a person of my caliber, I require a lot of carbs because, you know, sports and just a high energy in my body phenotype, I require a lot of carbs to keep me up and going, you know. So cutting out like certain carbs and, you know, bad carbs and trans fats like your canola oils, your vegetable oils, and all that other shit, and substituting more for like grapeseed oils, sunflower oil. I'm not too sure about it, but grapeseed oils, olive oils, flaxseed oils, what else? Coconut oils are always good to cook in because they require like a certain temperature to cook the food. But like olive oils, if you heat that up, or canola oil, it tends to burn all the nutrients out. So when you go to these particular stores and you get like a certain type of fish or fried fish, they fry that shit in the worst oil. Like I called myself the other day, going to get a little bite to eat. Jake was a little hungry, and I went to the spot in the hood. Big mistake, right? Went there, little hamburger special, and I ain't gonna lie. I mean, after I ate it, I didn't feel like horrible, but I can tell a difference, and it lingered with me for like 2 days because I'm not used to putting that bullshit in my stomach anymore. So I ate that. The fucking grease. I had a piece of chicken, I had a burger and some fries, right? And I ate that shit, and I didn't even eat all. I threw the majority of it away. But when I ate that shit, I'm just like, this is horrible. Like, you can taste the oils, the canola oils, and the soy. And I'm like, you wonder why niggas got diabetes, high blood pressure. And I'm like, this is the same shit y'all sell in the hood. You know? So these Edomites got to be stopped, man. You know? Salt in every goddamn thing. I mean, it's salt in everything. Salt and sugar in everything. And salt is not a bad thing, but you don't need too much of it. Like, I could go in my cabinet. I got pink Himalayan sea salt, and I got Celtic sea salt, which is actually more potent because your body does require salt But you don't need that much salt, man. You may need like a gram or two a day because your body naturally has salts in them. So you don't want to overly eat salt, man, you know? But it's salt in every goddamn thing. Seasoned salt, salt in this, salt and flour, all this shit, man. It's just poison. You know, like I had oat flour, had wheat flour, and I don't eat like white flour, none of that. I cut all that stuff out. But if I do get like a white flour, if I'm on hard times, it got to be organic white flour. But I barely eat that. But I get like wheat flour, oat flour, you know, stuff like that, man. And the food tastes a lot better in my opinion. Like right now, I got grapeseed oil here, and I have this extra virgin olive oil. Got to be cold pressed, of course. You know, then I got organic apple cider vinegar, psyllium husks. I got what they call here German style sauerkraut. You know, which sauerkraut is basically fermented cabbage, which is basically a probiotic. You know, because like I said, man, we got to do the best we can in this fucking place because literally our bodies are destroyed, you know. So anyway, couple precepts real quick. This is the book of Mark 16, and I'm going to start at verses 17. It says, these miraculous signs will also accompany those who believe. They will cast out demons in my name, and they will speak in the new languages, man. Okay, and the new language that we're speaking, and it's not really a new language, but it's the Hebrew. Okay, also this English, like the Lord said, with stammering looks in another tongue shall I speak to my people. So this new speak, this bullshit language we're speaking is called English, but yet we're still out there proclaiming the words of the Heavenly Father. We're out there waking up brothers with the Holy Spirit in the English language. And how about you, how Shah despises this language, man, but he understands this is our captivity. Okay, we're supposed to be speaking, how we're speaking English now, we're supposed to be speaking fluent Hebrew, Lashawan Kodash. But it says, and they will be able to handle snakes with safety. Yep, and the snakes is in the form of you niggas, you people. Okay, give subtlety to the simple. All right, and it says, and if they drink anything poisonous, it won't hurt them. Okay, like Jake grew up drinking Kool-Aid, pop, Hawaiian. I remember Hawaiian Punch, man. We used to kill a can of that shit, straight sugar. Now the Hawaiian Punch they got on the aisles today, I mean, it's the same thing, but it don't have as much sugar in it, but it's still poison. It's high fructose corn syrup, sugar, cane sugar, that sugar is like, goddamn, drinking Kool-Aid, RC, Coca-Cola. And those of you that's from Chicago, you know what RC means. Royal Crown, Royal Cola, Royal Crown. It's called RC. We used to get it in our little hole-in-the-wall restaurants. I haven't seen RC outside of Chicago, but Coca-Cola, Pepsi, RC. We used to do a taste test to be able to tell which one was which. And I always knew which one was Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola was more, people say it's more sweeter. But in my opinion, I feel like Pepsi was always sweeter than Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola got a more flat taste to it, but it's still full of sugar. Anything that burns when you drink it, it shouldn't be consumed. It's poison, man. All right. But it says, and they would be able to handle snakes with safety. And if they drink anything poisonous, it won't hurt them. They would be able to place their hands on the sick and they will be healed. Okay. And we're able to do these things now through the Spirit. Okay. We've healed brothers. We've put hands on brothers, and brothers have had infirmities lifted because we did it in faith. You know, we're coming to a time now that healing is getting ready to come back in a big way, because this time in the earth, you have more sick people than ever. Okay, and all of us are sick. Every last one of us in this thing, we're sick. Okay, we have bodily ailments, whether they surface in themselves or not. We all suffer from something, whether it be gout, back pains, neck pains, fucking stomach issues, sinus issues, you name it. Diabetes. Brothers are fucking suffering in the body, man. You know, this is why we got to get up out of here. We wait on that new body, because once we get out of these curses, out of these bodies, we going to be good. You know, and it says, and they will be able to place their hands on the sick and they will be healed. All right. Another precept here. This is the book of Sirach 37. And I'm going to start at verses 28. It says, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything. So let's just say drinking, right? Drinking is lawful. But drinking may not be for every brother, because some brothers can't handle their liquor well, you know. Well, some brothers may drink alcohol and it may cause certain body ailments because, you know, they may have esophagitis, what is called esophagitis or some shit, esophagitis or something, when you have an inflammation or mucosal tear in the esophagus lining that goes down to the stomach, to the digestional tract. You know, which a good fix for that is slippery elm bark, marshmallow root. Those are all good because what happens is it patches up the gut. It works like a gel substance and it patches up holes in the gut, you know, which a lot of brothers suffer from leaky gut syndrome, you know, because the foods that you're eating is not digesting properly and they're just fermenting in your stomach and they cause tears in your small and your large intestines, man, and it leaks up into the bloodstream. And this is why you feel like death when you're getting ready to eat a hamburger. Okay, slippery elm, it's good for that. Marshmallow root, good for that. Chamomile tea, peppermint tea, which is good to, you know, for immunobalance and gives you kind of a level-headed feeling. It calms down the central nervous system. Because a lot of times your central nervous system is overactive because of the anxiety, the pollutants, you know, and it's really your mind. Your mind is all jumbled all over the place, and it comes from this fucking food, you know. And this dude really just took down a whole pine tree. Like, why? That's stupid, bro. Like, you know, Salakia, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm looking like they cut down 60% of our trees out here. Like behind the office, it was a beautiful field of trees. They cut that down and put a fucking restaurant. Now I ain't got a view in this angle. Looking across the street, and this guy's cutting down a pine tree. And we had pine trees all around here. And one thing about pine trees, they're beneficial to the environment because once you have certain pollutants that hits the air, the pine cones and the tree's supposed to become activated and it releases a pine smell into the atmosphere. So therefore it fights off the toxins, but yet they cutting all this shit down. And this is the worst time to do it because you're building up businesses and you have a main strip out there and it's nothing but pollutants and emissions and all this other shit, CO2. It's crazy, you know? So we're getting hit with all that. And you wonder why allergies is at an all-time high. Okay, the earth, the air, the trees, it all works in tandem with our bodies. And when you're cutting down the shit that's conducive to life, this is what happens. And this is why a lot of people are sick. You know, and they always use justification on, well, you know, the tree is dying. It's dying because y'all not fucking taking care of the trees and you're cutting shit down too much. You know, let me see something. Slack, and I'm going to get back to the point, but I'm looking. That's 1, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They cut down like 7 trees since I've been here. And that's not talking about the field that was across the street from my crib, because across the street, that was a whole, like, that was full of woods, and they cut all that shit. That shit is probably like 4 acres, and matter of fact, I won't say 4 acres, it's probably like 2.5 acres, maybe 1.5 acres, 2 acres, but it's a big plot of land that they can pull a strip mall on, and all that was trees, all of it, you know. But whatever, Esau do what the hell he want to do. But anyway, it says, for all things are not profitable for all men, neither have every soul pleasure in everything. But be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats, for excessive meats bringeth sickness. It says, for excessive meats bring sickness, and surfeiting will turn into choler. And by surfeiting, which is like drunkenness, may have many perish, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. Okay, so hey man, partying and all that shit, I mean, you know, it's a balance to everything, but you don't want to be just turning up every single day. You know, give your body time to rest, because you got some jakes out there, that's all they do is turn up and drink every fucking day. You don't want to do that, man. You know, you don't want to just be sitting up there drinking because you want to drink or you want to eat bad things. Like, it ain't nothing, it's nothing wrong with little, you know, folly here and there. You may want to have a drink, you may want to have a particular food, but overall, man, you want to make sure your diet is pure as possible. They say 70% of fruits and vegetables, you know, the other 15 meats and all this stuff, but here it's hard to avoid, because here the primary diet of the American is meat, man. You know, and meat is not necessarily bad for you, but it could become toxic. You know, because overall, it's really not the meat that's killing people, but it's the shit they're putting in the food. Okay, we've ate meat since the beginning of time, but it's just the meats here. They got pink slime. They have all types of chemicals in the meat, man. And that's killing people, and they know that shit. This is why they continue to push it. You know, so you just got to be very circumspect on what you eat. And if you do eat like certain comfort foods, make sure that you're eating the most pure shit. Like if I eat some fried chicken or some tacos or something, you know, for the protein, you better believe it's being fried in the most pure grease. Or if it's not baked, you know, we're using the best flours and we're using the best grades of meat. Like me personally, I eat that grass-fed beef. You know, I mean, it digests perfectly. It goes right through you and right in and out. It's good, you know. I get it from all these. I think it's like $5 for like a half a pound or something, a pound or something like that. It's not very expensive, but it's a good quality meat. It's grass-fed organic beef. And believe it or not, it's not too expensive. They had it on sale for like 2 months. And I've been taking advantage of that shit. So if I make my tacos or my hamburgers or whatever, I use that meat. Or if I decide to do some rotel, I do like walnut meat. Basically, you get walnuts and you kind of chop it up and grind it up and you put the sauces and shit in it and you can't even tell the difference. It's walnut meat. You should look it up. It's pretty good, man. But anyway, the word choler, it says ready disposition to irritation, anger, indignation, rage, fury. Yep. Anger, irritability are generally bad in temperament. And a lot of that shit comes from inflammation as well. Like all diseases is based on inflammation. All right. Mucus and inflammation, which you need mucus in the body to flush out toxins and shit like that. But even then, too much mucus shows you that you have a lot of toxins in the body. You know, so good thing for mucus is what do I take? I take lavender and what's the name of this shit I got? Lavender and oregano. I took that, man, and I say a couple of days later, and I came down like with a cold. Man, I blew out so much fucking snot, man, so much stuff, and it was all clear. I blew all that shit out. I was like, wow. Because you're congested because, once again, they're cutting down trees. You're not getting an adequate supply of air. You're breathing in all the toxins. I mean, they cutting down trees left and right. You know, like he just cut down a whole pine tree, which gives the apartment complexes a look. You know, but whatever. Anyway, it says here, be not unsatiable in any dainty thing, nor too greedy upon meats. For excess meats bringeth sickness, and servitude will turn into choler. Anger, aggression, irritability. You know, you get drunk, you out there brawling. Motherfucker shoot your ass. It says that by servitude many have perished, but he that taketh heed prolongeth his life. So we got to take heed to these things, man. Follow the scriptures and just, you know, balance everything out. Because honestly speaking, a lot of this shit is really unavoidable at this time. But this is the book of Ezekiel 4:16. Matter of fact, let's start at verses Ezekiel 4:12. And it says, prepare and eat this food as you would eat barley cakes. All the people are watching, and bake it over a fire using dry human dung as fuel, and then eat the bread. Then the Lord said, this is how Israel will eat the foul bread in the Gentile lands to which I will banish them. Then I said, O sovereign Lord, must I be defiled using human dung? For I've never ever been defiled before, but from the time I was a child until now, I've never eaten any animal that died of sickness or that was killed by other animals. Basically like roadkill, man, you know. And then also a lot of the cows are sick too because they're injecting them with all these pests, all these chemicals. You know, the chickens are sick. People was catching salmonella poison, all types of shit, man. The food is sick. They're poisoning the food. That's what Ezekiel said here. He said, for the time I was a child until now, I've never eaten any animal that died of sickness or was killed by other animals, and I've never eaten any forbidden meat by the law. But all right, says the Lord, you may bake your bread with cow's dung instead of human dung. Like, what's the difference? Human shit, cow shit. Then he told me, son of man, I will make the food very scarce in Jerusalem, and it will be weighed out with great care and eating fearfully. The waters will be rationed out drop by drop, and the people will drink it with dismay. Lacking food and water, people will look at one another in terror, and they will waste away under their punishment. Because the famine is coming too, man. But the food is killing people. So I'm going to end it here, giving all praises and glory and honor that's due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, he will edify. Until the next lesson. Shalom.